Hey YouTube, I don't know how to start these videos, so let me just introduce the premise. I bought a fake Figma, fake pyramid head. Figma. If you know anything about Silent Hill, you know that Pyramid Head appears in the second game, at least the second game. I actually haven't played the whole series. My familiarity with the games is just this one, and then the remake of 2 and 3. Yeah, definitely not as knowledgeable on Silent Hill as I am on Metroid. Though I did research the lore a little bit. Anyway, it's a fake Figma. I bought it knowing it was fake. To be honest, I bought it out of curiosity. You know, not everyone has the capacity to be able to afford real Figma, and because they are fairly expensive. You know, they're collector's item. I think they're very much not meant to be bought. You know, you're not supposed to buy all of them. I don't think. I think it's very much just a line where if you like a certain series, well, here's a high, quality figure of it. But obviously they're knockoffs. This is one of them. But like I said, I bought it knowing it was fake, and I bought it to kind of look at the quality and see just what makes it fake. Like, it's a fake figure. What on it is off compared to normal Figma? The quality, I guess you could expect to see from normal Figma. So right off the bat, here's the figure. I'm gonna try getting the light, and I'll adjust the video later, I guess, to make the brightness better. So I'll just power through this now and look shitty through the footage. So yeah, here's Pyramid Head. Actually, the instruction says red pyramid thing. And I don't know why it says that, not Pyramid Head. I mean, maybe this is the actual name. I've called him Pyramid Head forever. I think most people know this is Pyramid Head. Although I will say this is the Revelations Pyramid Head, which was a movie. It was the second Silent Hill movie. So maybe in that movie it's called the Red Pyramid thing. I actually didn't see the sequel. I did see the original. But yeah, quality-wise, let me see if I can move ourselves a little bit. Okay. So just a general overview. If you look at the paint job, if you've ever seen a Figma, the paint job obviously isn't as good. I'm going to see if I can't include some images of the original figure. I actually don't own it, so I can't do a direct comparison. But in the case of this, like the way the boots are molded in with the pants, particularly on this leg. The paint from the pants touches the boots. Obviously the paint job isn't spectacular here, though it is surprisingly detailed here. The little cuts, I did see the original image a little bit before I looked at the figure. This isn't a cut, but like things like this hole, or I guess it's supposed to be a hole, or this. They do have some markings on them. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I imagine it's either supposed to be it's probably supposed to be blood, or I don't. In the game, I can't think of anything that would have caused that, so it must just be a movie thing. But I do like that detail. I'm actually kind of surprised they included it. I would imagine on a fake Figma they wouldn't even bother with that. Anyway, moving up. The arm detail. This is the first one that I noticed when I looked at the figure. The mold appears to be as detailed as the image that's online for the official product. You can see the vein pumping out. You can see all the muscle detail, but it's the color. See, the color for the online image that I looked at for reference, it has a higher contrast between the dips and the bulges. The dips are much more orange, I believe, like orangey red, and the muscles are just by comparison just a lighter, or maybe they're darker. I'll have to look again. Basically, the contrast is different, is what I'm trying to say. Part of it's orangey reddish, part of it's like a darker kind of clay color. Whereas this is just clay color all around with like a little bit of darker brown. Obviously not as detailed. The ball joint was surprisingly exposed on the pictures I saw of the online official product. The ball joints are exposed here as well. So, I mean, in that regard, even though that might actually be an indicator as to it being fake, for this one in particular, you can get away with it, at least when you compare it to the official product. The hands, I actually haven't really messed with them yet. The figure did come with more hands. These are both fists. Actually, I kind of panicked when I first opened it up, because obviously, even though I bought it knowing it was fake, I still want to put it somewhere. You know, I want to like display it. I'm not just going to throw it in the trash or anything. But I saw that there were fists, but I also know that Pyramid Head comes with his giant. Where is it? This sword. I actually don't know what it's called. To me, it always looked like a knife, and that this is the part that would go into like the knife handle. If this was like a food knife, and you just rip the plastic or wood off, and this is what would be under it. Yeah, I don't actually know what type of sword this is. This bolt is what makes me think it's like a steak knife or a kitchen knife or whatever. I don't know my knives. I don't know my cutlery. But yeah, so the fists, obviously, they don't hold the knife. Luckily, it does come with hands that do have a variety of different positions. They look like they can hold a knife. I'll do a test for that after I do the overview of the figure. This right here, this little piece sticking out, I did check these little like ridges here on the other side. They are on the real figure, but the texture of them, like physical texture, not the paint, the physical texture of them seems more in line with this than it is flat. If I'm being honest, even though I know the movie version is like probably one-to-one with the official Figma, I kind of like that this has a different texture because it makes it look like a different material, and I feel like it's supposed to be. Like, I mean, I don't know for sure. I mean, there's some mystery surrounding Pyramid Head, at least until you understand what Pyramid Head is meant to represent in the game. But initially, there's some mystery to him, and I don't know. This is one of those things that is undefined here, and yeah, it's minor. You'd skip over it normally, but I notice it. I notice it's a different texture physically than the official, and I kind of like that it's different here. Maybe it's not how it's supposed to be, but I think it makes it feel like a different piece. If it was the same texture, I would feel like this is just mold that just ran off, like when it was being molded, the plastic pieces that weren't cut off of the shape before it was attached. So I do like that it's different for that reason alone. If I'm being honest, the Pyramid Head piece is pretty damn good. The lines, they're all orange for the most part. Looks very kind of veiny. I wouldn't call it Geigery. Very veiny. There's cuts in the edges. I mean, the pyramid sculpt on the head is great, and that's what you notice, I think, with the fake Figmas. It's not normally the sculpt of the individual pieces, but it's how they fit together that can be messed up, and it's just the paint. The paint is normally the biggest thing, just not as much depth in the paint as you would get. Let's flip them over. Let's see. Oops. There we go. I do like this. I'd never noticed this in the game when I played Silent Hill 2. Maybe this is a detail in the movie, but this like weird like brain piece. I don't honestly know what it's meant to be. Yeah, you beats me. The muscle detail on the back, obviously, I'm sure the Figma official one connects better than this. The buckles are colored, which I did notice, but I also noticed on the front, this piece right here also has belts, but the buckles aren't colored and the belts aren't colored. So I don't know how the official one looks. It was kind of hard to tell when I did the minimal research I did, but they are not colored on this one at the very least. There's a hole in the back, which is standard for Figma. You plug the Figma typically in some sort of hole. This plastic piece right here. This is what helps it stand up, or if you want to do an action pose or something like that, you would, like if you wanted to be jumping or something, you would use this to give it that that balance, to make it look more real, I guess. And yeah, just going down it, the articulation appears to be the same. The toes are articulate. I couldn't tell from the picture, but the what is this? What would you call this? A butcher apron? I don't really know what you'd call this. A skirt. Basically, the hole down here is connected. I don't know if the official Figma has this connecting piece. Oops, sorry. I got a message on my phone. I don't know if the official Figma has that connecting piece. This one does. So yeah, I couldn't tell you if that was how it's supposed to be or not. But overall, honestly, and I know this wouldn't work for all Figma, but considering he doesn't have like a face that you have to get right, and he's more of like an object, at least head-wise, and that his clothes are so simple, it's, for what it is, it's actually pretty damn good. Obviously, I'm not advocating that you buy a fake over the original, but quality-wise, just, you know, giving positive observations when I see them. I think if there were a example of a fake Figma that wasn't complete rubbish, this one is it's fine. You know what I mean? It's not as disappointing as, say, opening something really like detailed, like maybe like a Link, or he's barely colored, like Lucina maybe, you know, or like Corin. Corin's one that I do plan on getting as well. And I can't imagine Corin would look good fake, just with all the different colors and different texture in the outfit and everything. But yeah, that's Pyramid Head. This is the weapon. Not going to say too much about it because I don't know enough about how to get it right. Ball is not on this side. I don't know if that's an error or not. This is painted silver. It's not just a trick in the camera lighting. Yeah, there's a hole here, which makes me think it hangs up in some sort of like fucked up tool shed. I don't know, again, if that's supposed to be on it or not. But I think for the most part, the mold is typically correct. It's just how they all connect, like with the ball joints, that typically isn't correct if I understand how fake Figmas tend to go. This is the pole. I don't remember a pole being in the game. I remember dragging around some of the, I call them mannequin enemies in the game. I think that's like the official name. Not sure. I'm gonna open this. It's gonna be noisy. Give me a minute. Okay, and we're back. So it includes the stand, which is normal for Figma. The stand is not warped. It actually kind of looked warped in the plastic wrapping. I guess it's not. It's got the port that you put this in. Oh, wrong one. There you go. And this is what helps the figure stand. Here is the end of the spear. It fits into here. Let's see if it'll actually take, though. Ooh, you know what? Doesn't take. That does not stick at all. Yeah, it's not even trying to stay in. So I'm assuming this goes in there just because it's got a port and then it's got a hole. If you're going to use this, you're going to need to glue it if you buy the fake one, because otherwise it just doesn't stay. Like, that looks like it's completely in, drags out effortlessly. There are some poses that I did see online, one of which is Pyramid Head being impaled by the spear. Here is the neck piece that you swap out with the figure's neck in there. Let me see if the spear sticks into that. Ooh. Honestly, I'm having trouble getting it in. Come on. Okay, yeah, so it will stick. Now, granted, I don't know if it's strong enough to really support the entirety of the figure. I'm not going to pose it that way anyway. I like the pose where he's dragging the oversized kitchenware a lot nicer than I do with him being impaled. Cool pose, though. And moving on to the hands. Now, I was surprised that it came with one of these because, to my knowledge, just with some research that I've done on fake Figmas, this is not something it normally comes with, or at least that was the something that I read on a forum. Which, you know, you can post anything on a forum. You can't always go off that anyway. But looking at the hands, the hand detail is pretty poor. They're webbed, is what it looks like, just because the mold doesn't have the individual fingers really, I guess, molded correctly. You have some hands like this, where the fingers are pretty damn good. And you have molds like this, where the fingers look like flippers. Now, I will say, I don't know what kind of gloves he wears. For all I know, maybe they're more like mittens. I really doubt they gave Pyramid Head mittens. So I'm just going to say this is probably the best hand. Hands like this, kind of disappointing to look at. He does have some hands that grip, which are for the spear and the sword. Let's see. One thing I do notice is, and even in the instruction manual, is that he doesn't have the same hands for each arm. With Figmas I've bought, I'm pretty sure normally they have the same shape for each arm, at least the ones that I've gotten. In this case, they are not, which, considering that I don't think this is necessarily like a bootleg, oh, product shown as a prototype, actual product may differ. I don't know if that actually applies here. But anyway, I don't think this is necessarily a bootleg manual. Maybe it is. I actually don't remember what the manuals look like when you buy Figma. And from what I understand, Pyramid Head's an older one, so maybe the manuals have changed. But the hands, like I said, different for left and right, not just in the, obviously where the thumb is positioned and where the palm is, but just that you cannot have the same pose, but on the opposite side. Which I normally pick one position anyway and just go with it. So it's not really a problem for me. But here I'm going to put the phone down again, and we're going to see how he looks when I have him all posed up. Okay, so I got the hand in. As you saw from the picture I hopefully included, the ball joint actually split in half for me. I did get to go back in, though it was a bitch. This isn't the first fake figure I've messed around with. This is the first fake Figma I figured out, messed around with. I have noticed, though, on these figures, the ball joint in the hand tends to be pretty bad when it's, you know, a knockoff. In this case is no exception. The ball joint was pretty bad. But I did fix it. It was just a pain to do. As for fitting the sword into this hand, it was a little tough. Wrestling with, you know, hands for action figures can be a little rough. I did fit it in, though. So, I mean, it's definitely not going anywhere. I don't know if that's a testament to how poor the quality is or how good it is. But either way, it will keep the sword in its hand, so I'm happy. In terms of posing it, honestly, the joints are so flimsy that the head rattles very easily. If I would mess with the waist to get it into just this position, which is a very basic position, the head would continue to sink. I kept having to put it back up. So in terms of posing it, it's probably going to take a little while to do with the pose that I really want to do for like my shelf. Yeah, I mean, that's, you get what you pay for, and I got what I paid for. don't think there's much else to say on it. Again, not advocating that you buy the fake product over the real product. Just kind of looking at what a fake is and what the differences are. Not much else to really say, honestly. For what it is, for the amount I spent, I'm happy with it. As happy as I can be knowing it's a fake. One last thing, I guess, before we close this out. The smell. It smells fake. It's this weird scent. It kind of gets caught in your throat. From what I understand, some of these Chinese knockoffs have lead paint used on them. I think this might be the case. I don't know particularly what material they use. Obviously, I don't have the capacity to just know that. But what I read online is lead paint or some sort of non-official paint. So breathing in, got a message. Breathing in sucks. I wouldn't definitely let these air out if they're going to be, around a child or something, I believe, before you put them on your shelf. I mean, what the fuck do I know? I don't really know that shit. I just know my throat feels funny when I'm next to it, so, maybe it's totally fine. Maybe I'm just the weaker one here. Maybe I should totally be okay with this. Anyway, just letting you know. Smells funny, feels kind of weird in my throat. Probably drink some water after this. And yeah, for what I spent, not awful. And it was a fake. It didn't have the box. So if you happen to buy a fake, at least if it's of a similar cheaper price, maybe not expect a box. I didn't get a box. And like I said, just final roundup here comes with those hands of somewhat good quality, not so good quality, a spearhead that doesn't fit into a spear, and everything else, well, I already talked about it. So yeah, that kind of ends that. I don't know how to end this shit, so yeah, bye, I guess. Yeah, that'll do.